My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
So, the grid is formed. Round 7 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship set to get underway. Glorious conditions, a huge crowd here, and they are set to be treated, I'm sure, to some great racing. We are set to go racing. The lights will go red. Who is going to make the best start as the lights go out now? Dreadful start by Brett Smith, great start by Colin Turkington, who is away like a tickled rat as they get themselves in towards Allard for the first time, but he's not made the move, he's on the outside, and Matt Neal tries to brave it out on the inside line all the way up to the complex. Here comes Turkington up the inside, going towards green, and then they get to the complex itself. Matt Neal will have the inside line for the first element, and he gets the race lead. Camish is third, Jordan's made a great start as well, he's fourth. Tordoff is fifth, then it's Chilton as they wriggle their way through Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave for the first time. It is Matt Neal in the lead, but only just.
Yeah, with a shorter distance round turn 1 and the inside into this complex, Matt Neal was able to just hold that position, and I saw Turkington giving him plenty of room at the first corner.
Andrew Jordan, great start. He really does not feel at all well, but you wouldn't think it the way that he's going as you're on board with Adam Morgan. Tom Oliphant, his teammate, just ahead on the left. Rob Austin directly ahead up the road. And the Mercedes with 66 kilos trying to battle its way up the order. The two teammates tripped over each other in race 1 at Donington. They don't want to do it again, and Morgan goes through on the inside at Church.
Yeah, I was worrying about that myself as I saw the two teammates together, but with the inside for Church, Morgan was always going through, but you were right. Andy Jordan made an absolutely scalding start, and remember, he is feeling very much under the weather. Watch them all staying off the curbs, at least onto this first lap. Good driving.
So Matt Neal it is who leads at the end of lap 1. Is Colin Turkington biding his time, or can he not find an answer? Remember, his car is fractionally heavier. Dan Camish running in the pack in third place. We're on board with Jordan, heading up now through Allard into the complex. In fifth spot, it's Tordoff. 6th is Chilton. 7th is Proctor. 8th is Brett Smith, who made a bad start. Remember, 9th is Smiley, and 10th is Tom Ingram, the championship leader.
This is on board with Andy Jordan. Look at that nice clear track. He gets the car hooked up, drives through the gap. There's Brett Smith. He just finds a gap there, nearly goes to the inside, but goes around the outside. He's still accelerating flat out round the outside of Proctor and slots into 4th place. He'll be very pleased with that. I bet he's not feeling poorly now.
It's a perfect medicine, isn't it?
That's such a great shot, that forward shot of the cars coming through Noble right on the limit. These corners, in previous years, they've been flat out, but the cars are more powerful now and they do struggle. Cook looking to make a move down the inside of Collard on the run down to Church, but he's not really close enough. Collard's going to shot. No, he's not. Very brave by Cook. I thought Collard was going to take the line there, but wow, that was brave. That's 125 miles an hour on the apex.
Here comes Tordoff to the outside of Jordan. They're side by side, rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive. Jordan on the inside, and he stays ahead of Tordoff. Josh Cook, bear in mind, is a Thuruxton instructor. He knows his way around here very well. It's Rob Collard's local circuit, both eager to do well. Look back from Jordan's car. Here is Tordoff up the inside. He's going to go through at Allard on the inside line. Now, is this the BMW starting to struggle, or is it Andrew struggling? Because physically, having not been able to keep anything inside him overnight, he must be pretty drained already.
Yeah, but normally the adrenaline kicks in, especially when you're running at the sharp end. But it was surprising because Tordoff had better traction coming out of the chicane and just drove up the inside of him, which I really didn't expect. You'd expect the BMW to be better, and it does look like Andy's struggling, bless him.
And now you've got Tom Chilton crawling all over him, and he is taking with him Senna Proctor. So I fear that the Pertec team, being the BMW entry, is going to drop down another couple of spots before we're done. Brett Smith is being caught by Chris Smiley. Here is Andrew Jordan at work, and he's hard at work.
Yeah, correcting some oversteer there, just on the apex of Goodwood. He looks cool enough behind the wheel, but we know he's not far from 100%.
In a week's time, he's on World Rallycross duty at Silverstone. Here, he's on the curb, coming out of Church through Brooklands. Up Woodham Hill they come then to the chicane. And Matt Neal's advantage, 3/10, because last time Colin Turkington did the fastest lap of the race. Therefore, the lap record is his, even quicker than Matt Neal from earlier on. Smiley locks up as he scrabbles into the chicane ahead of Brett Smith. So a place has been gained for the BTC Norlin Honda, but they're overlapping, coming out. Look in the background, they're side by side. Ingram is right there as well. And Smiley stays ahead as they make the move now into Allard. Chris Smiley then goes through 8th. 9th is Brett Smith from 3rd on the grid. He was confident pre-race, but that really pop start has hurt him. Yeah, the quick man at the moment is definitely Tordov. He set his personal best lap on the last lap, despite driving underneath us failing Andy Jordan on the first corner. He's lapping very quickly and closing down Camish. So Tordov then, his last lap, the 17.4, 3/10 or so quicker than Dan Camish. So can we get Sam Tordov onto the podium? He's shown pace all season. He's just had no decent luck whatsoever. There is Matt Simpson squabbling with his teammate Jack Goff. Remember, different liveries, but they're both Eurotech run cars. This is Adam Morgan, 2nd in the championship, up behind the championship leader Tom Ingram in the heavier Toyota Avensis, the Speedweek car, just ahead of the Mac Tools with Sicily Motorsport entry as they come into Church. Dab on the brakes, Ingram stays ahead, but Morgan's going to get the run on him. Yeah, look, that mid-corner speed advantage. Is he going to get alongside it? They carry this momentum. They actually only pick up about 10, 15 miles an hour on this whole run up Woodham Hill, but he's taken Oliphant through as well, and Rob Austin has got... There's a problem for Ingram. Problem already for Ingram. The car wouldn't slow down or turn in, so maybe he's got a left front problem, and he should drive straight in the pits if he could get across the track. So the championship leader has a problem. He ran deep into the chicane. No, it's not a puncture. It's not a puncture. But he's heading for the pits nonetheless. Now let's have a look. Was there some contact going into Allard? Let's see. This is on board with Josh Cook. Bang into the back. No, that wouldn't have caused a problem. That was relatively minor. Out of Church they come. Smiley goes a little bit wider than does Smith, and the gap straight away comes down. Is this Smith's chance to challenge? Yes, it is. He's in the draft. Chris Smiley defends. To the outside line goes Brett Smith. Has he got the job done? He has. They make contact. Smiley tucks in behind him. That could have been a whole lot worse. They survive it, but Brett Smith goes through. He picks up the place. Smiley drops in behind him, and next in the queue is Josh Cook. And now we get the driving standards flag being shown. Mike Bushell is getting one. Andrew Jordan is getting one, and so too is Matt Simpson. That'll all be for track limits of the chicane, I'm afraid. But good move by Brett Smith. Forceful, but a good, strong move. And moving past the fellow Honda. Oh, running wide at the turn in there. He's lost a bit of track position, running wide. Now running a little bit wide. That uses more tyre. The more lock you have to put on through the Campbell Crop Seagrave section, the more of the tyre you're using. So I noticed that Sam Tordov was extremely neat and tidy in the Gardex Motorbase Ford through the complex, not using any of the curbs. That's going to really look after his tyres. And look, he is just closing down Camish a little bit. Creeping up onto the tail, isn't he? So they turn their way through Church. Brett Smith through into 8th place now, the reigning mini challenge champion, going after Senna Proctor. Here is the fight for 3rd, heading up Woodham Hill. It's still Andrew Jordan hanging on to that 5th place. Tom Chilton behind him. Tordov close, but not close enough to attack, nor is Turkington yet close enough to attack race leader Matt Neal. And there, Chilton is ahead of Jordan. Look, the change has happened on the run to the chicane. That's for 5th. Chilton through. 6th now is Jordan. 7th is Senna Proctor. Can he find a way through as well? Well, we know that that Vauxhall's very quick. Similar sort of car to the Focus is, a hatchback car, so quite possibly has the advantage in the same sort of places on the track. To the complex they come. Jordan falling away a little bit as he has to defend. Josh Cook closing right up. We are on lap 10. It is a 16-lap race and absolutely nose to tail. Jordan and Cook now. Josh Cook wants to try to find a way through if he can. Hasn't quite been able to prise open the door, but not for the want of trying. Yeah, Senna Proctor it is behind Jordan, and already a race with a lovely line through there, Senna Proctor. Look how much time he gained through Noble. Beautiful line there. And another driving standards flag goes out. This time Aidan Moffat in the Laser Tools Racing Mercedes down in 19th place. Right, Proctor still pushing, still chasing. And Jordan, for the moment, fending him off. But could that change on the run to the chicane like it did with Chiltern last time?
Yeah, well, he didn't get quite such a good run, but flashing the lights. Very equal through Church. 6th gear, 130 miles an hour. Great, great corner.
Proctor closing under braking into the chicane. Can't find a gap there. He's way up the curve, isn't he? 2 wheels his way through. Has he got the momentum coming out of the chicane to challenge? Let's see. Leaders go through in the same order. Neil to Turkington, half a second. Camish to Tordoff, half a second. 3rd and 4th. 5th is Chiltern. Jordan still 6th. Proctor 3/10 behind him when they went over the line. Despite the flashing of the lights, he's going to have to do more than that to unsettle Jordan.
Yeah, still not too much degradation in times at the front. Both Neil and Turkington lapping in 18.0s against their very best of 72s set on lap 4. So not too much degradation, but identical lap times for Neil and Turkington.
So the Power Max Tag Racing Vauxhall Astra in the hands of Senna Proctor, 7th, hustling on as they go through Noble. Behind is Brett Smith, doing his best to catch up, but not really being able to lap sufficiently fast to do so for the moment. We're on lap 11 of the 16. There is Andrew Jordan, still running in that 6th place. And there's the race leader, Matt Neal, then. He makes his way up Woodham Hill from Church. Colin Turkington behind him. In the 1st sector this time, Neal was quicker. In the 2nd sector, Neal was fractionally quicker.
Yeah, for lots of reasons, I think Matt Neal would want to win this race. He's been slightly overshadowed on speed initially this year by new teammate Dan Camish, but showing everybody that he's got all the ability left to take championships. And here at Thuruxton, not very far from Honda headquarters along the M4, it would be a great place to do it. And also for Yuasa Batteries, look at that new logo, or that old logo. It's celebrating their 100 years on the front of the car. So lots of reasons for Matt Neal to want to win.
And a replay here of Aidan Moffat up alongside Mike Bushell. A change for 18th place, this. Not yet in the points, Aidan Moffat, but pushing, pushing, pushing. Left rear corner damage then for Boardman. He'd worked his way up to 26th, but now he's the cork in the bottle because right there behind him is Bobby Thompson looking for a way through. Behind Thompson is his teammate Michael Caine, and there's another line of cars lined up looking for track position as well here coming to the chicane, because you're looking at the line for 19th. James Cole just ahead of Jake Hill. The leaders are on lap 14 of 16. The gap is down fractionally from 1.2 to 1.1. 11 tenths then it is between the 1st and 2nd place cars with 3 laps to run. Camish is still hanging on to 3rd place, and Sam Tordoff, try as he might, can't get close enough to attack. And Michael Caine, with the bonnet up, pulls off coming out of the chicane. Question is, how did the bonnet open?
Yes, well, let's see, was there a little touch at the back, or yes, a touch at the front?
Yes, he hits Tom Boardman.
Yeah.
Boardman gets sideways and loses a wheel. Wheel ripped off Boardman's car.
Yeah.
So we've got Michael Caine off the road and Tom Boardman in the middle of the road.
Yeah, so where's Boardman's car ended up? Of course, it's front-wheel drive, so he could sort of drag it out the way, but
it was a big hit to get the wheel off.
It was, yeah.
Matt Neal against the expectations that this rear-wheel drive car was going to beat him off the line, was going to win the race. Matt has conquered.
Whoever said that was going to happen, I've no idea.
It was a voice so similar to yours, but it can't have been. Down to the chicane for the last time. Matt Neal is set to win. We said in qualifying yesterday, you can never write him off, and Matt Neal proves it once more on Honda's home ground. Matt Neal wins round 7 of the BTCC for 2018. Colin Turkington bags 2nd, Dan Camish 3rd, 4th to Tordoff, 5th to Chiltern. 2 motor-based Fords in the top 5. Round 7 won by Matt Neal from Colin Turkington. Dan Camish 3rd ahead of Sam Tordoff, and then Tom Chiltern with Andrew Jordan 6th. Senna Proctor taking 7th ahead of Brett Smith, and then Josh Cook. Chris Smiley rounds out the top 10. So how does that shuffle the championship? Let's find out. Tom Ingram is still the leader because Adam Morgan didn't score well. Josh Cook didn't score hugely either, and so it is just 5 points between Ingram and Morgan. Dan Camish now 4th, up ahead of Jack Goff. Sutton is 6th. Turkington, who was 10th, is now 7th. Matt Neal is into the top 10, 8th ahead of Moffat, and then it's Chris Smiley 10th. 5-second board displayed. It's round 8 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship from Thuruxton, and it is go. Great start by Turkington, and this time he does launch ahead of Matt Neal on the outside, going up towards Allard. Good start by Tom Chilton on the inside. He's up the curb. It's 3 wide going round Allard. Andrew Jordan's made another rocket ship start as well. Tordoff is third just about, but Jordan's alongside him. Jordan on the outside line gets his nose in front, but Tordoff comes back on the shorter inside line. Tordoff third, Jordan is fourth, Chilton is fifth, and Dan Camish breathes in and just squeezes up the inside to try to get into the top 6. Can he do it? No, not quite.
Yeah, both the Works Hondas making poor starts this time. Neal losing a place to Turkington, and Camish losing 3 or 4 places.
So the race leaders then working their way through Goodwood and Village for the first time, with Turkington trying to edge clear. This is Andrew Jordan's view. He's attacking and being attacked as he rounds Village up towards Church.
He was looking ever so tired at the end of race 1. I understand he just had a lie down. Nobody really spoke to him, and replenishment of as much bodily fluids as they could get into him. But even in the car before race 2, he looked very tired, bless him.
But the adrenaline has kicked in, hasn't it? Because he's racing hard enough as they come down towards the chicane at the end of lap 1. Colin Turkington leads the way. Look back, that's Tom Chilton behind Andrew Jordan. There's more tar smoke settling. Rob Collard is there attacking Adam Morgan. And Mike Bushell slow on the outside line as they come to the chicane with a problem. Leaders go through. Turkington has the advantage, half a second up at the end of lap 1. Matt Simpson goes through just ahead of Collard. And right with the pair of them is Jack Goff, struggling in race 1 for straight line speed as they now head up towards the complex. Jack Goff, Brands Hatch winner, lines up for a move on the inside. Can he go through? Breaks late. Goes deep into the corner, and he does go through. Yeah,
that was a good move by Goff. He's been struggling with this straight line speed, not just relative to other cars, but relative to his teammates. So a little bit of head scratching going on there at Eurotech.
And now you've got the 2 Power Max Tag Racing Vauxhall Astras running together on the back there of Tom Chilton. At the moment, it is Senna Proctor going through behind teammate Josh Cook. So they've had a switch around on this lap. Josh Cook making up progress, and he has a look to the inside now, approaching Church against Chilton, but he can't find a way through there. The leading 4 just edging away slightly from Chilton. That top 4 being Turkington, then Neal, then Tordoff, then Jordan, but it's nose to tail for 5th, and a slow. Is that Camish who has slowed right down? It's one of the Works Hondas, certainly, as they come down to the chicane. So, as you see, Chilton just defending his place from Josh Cook. One of the 2 Team Dynamics Hondas is in strife. There's a sideways Brett Smith just up ahead of Adam Morgan, who's going to put a move on him coming out of the chicane. Morgan carrying less weight this time around, goes through over the timing line. It was Dan Camish with a problem, Tim. He's dropped to 10th.
Yeah, no idea what that is, but a great shame for him after a good first race podium, and clearly got some issue there. We'll find out later. Adam Morgan on the charge up behind Chris Smiley. Lap 3 now, all the drivers free to use the curbs as the tyres are up to pressure and temperature.
So Colin Turkington leading the way by half a second, although last lap through, Matt Neal was quicker and did the fastest lap of the race, a 17.919. That's Tom Oliphant in the weeds, and he's a long way off the circuit. Is that the end of the race for the newcomer to the championship this year? The top 2 still together. Turkington ahead of Neal. Then the battle pack for 3rd. You've got Tordoff ahead of Jordan. The one to watch in this, though, is Josh Cook, going really well now. He's, of course, only got 15 kilos on the car. It is the end of the day for a very irate Tom Oliphant, and this might explain how he got there. Let's have a look in the background. There's contact with James Cole, and Oliphant perhaps does a tyre or the suspension. Nose to tail, Smiley and Morgan. There's Dan Camish. Quick pit stop, back into the race he goes. And you also got Jason Plato in the pit lane, I noticed there. And he was in the pits in race 1 as the leaders are nose to tail. Look at 3rd, 4th and 5th as well. Cook attacking Jordan. Is this Matt Neal for the race lead? There's no gap on the inside. Turkington fends him off. Cook round the outside of Jordan. They nearly lean on each other. Is Cook going to go over the curbs? Yes, he is. He goes through. Will that stand?
Well, now that's a question. The drivers this year, they're told if they gain an advantage like that, they have to give the place back or face sanctions after the race. And if there's any doubt, he should give the place back now, because if he gains further places, he'll then get put back behind Jordan after the race if he's deemed to be at fault for that.
So the team may well be on the radio to advise or suggest, but right now Josh is on a mission. He's all over the back of Sam Tordoff. And in fact, they're not that far adrift of the two race leaders, because Cook has done the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.5. So the leading four covered by a second and a half. But, of course, he didn't do the chicane. It will be a good lap time, and that's only going to draw the attention of the officials even further to that incident.
So gaining an advantage, exactly. So although the driver always feels he's right, and he'll feel like he was forced wide, he should really give that position back. He wasn't passed before he went off the circuit. He was trying to go round the outside. Andy Jordan's online, and to me that looks like a pass round through the chicane. And what's this?
The leaders are nose to tail. This is for third. This is Cook going ahead of Tordorf, so he's gained another place. Matt Neal has caught Turkington. And look, Cook is closing. He's bringing the line closer to the leaders.
But Proctor has dropped behind Jordan, so he has given that place back.
Over the timing line they come. Josh Cook is third, so he's gained a place on Tordorf. Jordan is fifth. Senna Proctor in sixth place as ever he was. So no, Josh Cook's advancing, isn't he, rather than handing back the place. He's on a mission. He's not hanging about.
No, you're absolutely right. He has gone forward.
You've got Chilton 7th, Smiley is 8th, Adam Morgan is up to 9th. Now, how is Tom Ingram getting on in all of this? Car number 80 is in 17th place from 32nd. He's nearly in the points.
Well, that's fantastic. Remember, the top 12 now, not the top 10. Top 12 get reversed for race 3. Yeah. So he's got to get somewhere in that ballpark between 6 and 12.
Adam Morgan hustling on. His car has shed weight. He owned up, didn't he, to making a real mons of the start in race 1. And he's on the back of Chris Smiley, who wasn't quite happy with the rear of the car in the opener, but he's fending off the Mercedes here. The Mercedes traditionally goes pretty well around here, and Morgan doing another good job moving himself up the order.
Plato leaves the pit lane. He retired in race 1 because of engine worries, and it seems those are ongoing.
Matt Neal under attack, because here is Josh Cook going for second place on the outside line. Matt Neal brakes as late as he dares. They rub. Josh Cook round the outside will do it. Yes, he goes through. Josh Cook takes second place. Great drive this by Josh. He started 9th on the grid. He is now 2nd, and he's going after Turkington. He's 11/10ths of a second back. He could be on for a win here.
Well, we're seeing an absolutely reinvigorated Josh Cook this year, back with the team that he started his British Touring Car Championship career with. I just hope that he doesn't get all the way and then be penalised after the race, because the only penalty really applicable will be to put him back behind Andy Jordan. This was round the outside. Matt Neal fighting it out, gets a wheel on the curb. I was surprised Matt Neal fought so hard for this position.
It was 8/10ths of a second starting this 8th lap. They're about to come across the timing line. Out of the right, left, right chicane. Over the timing line now goes Turkington, goes Cook, 0.380 between them. Matt Simpson gets forced out to the right over the curb by Ash Sutton, who gets forced out to the left coming out of the chicane. Tom Ingram gets up the inside of Rob Austin. Ingram goes through now in 15th place. Make that 14th at Allard, because he's got ahead of the Alfa Romeo.
And he may get Sutton as well here on the run up to the complex.
He's on the inside line. Matt Simpson is ahead of them in the Eurotech Run Honda, and he's up the curve, and Ingram is alongside Sutton. Inside for Campbell, the outside for Cobb, and he slots back in behind the reigning champion. Aidan Moffat offline, staying with them at the back of that group. And Moffat now fights up the inside of Rob Austin, taking different lines, but he's going to be on the outside for Noble, and the Alfa Romeo Giulietta fends off the Mercedes. Well, if race 1 was calm, as Austin gets all sideways, this is a lot more frantic. Has Aidan Moffat got past the Alfa? They come back into shot. They're still side by side.
Yeah, I think he'll have enough of a momentum to get him as they run down to Copse. Can Ingram get past Sutton on the run up to the chicane? Will he get a better exit? But up front, Cook is right on the back of Turkington. Turkington will know that he's lighter and will just try and drive his own line. And if Cook's got the speed to get past, he gets past. Josh is just trying to use his car's superior cornering speed to pull up the inside, trying to get a little overlap here on the inside. No, he can't do it. And immediately Turkington goes to cover it off, hoping to outbrake him on the inside. This isn't over yet, but yes, it is. Cook's got through. Wow. Wow, and a beautiful slide. He just holds it. He's going to be a little slow off the hairpit, off the chicane, though. Turkington cuts back to the inside.
Has Turkington got the momentum? No, he hasn't. He has to slot back in behind. So now It is Josh Cook, the hunted, rather than the hunter. Can Colin Turkington force a mistake out of the driver from Bath? The Northern Irishman in second spot coming up towards the complex. Josh Cook then hits the front. There's more drama going on at the chicane as Bobby Thompson does a Cook, as it were, and straight lines it rather than make contact. That's the other argument, isn't it, that you do that to avoid an incident?
Yeah, sometimes you do, and that's the one you take up to Ian Watson, the clerk of the course. But that was an interesting show of the weight difference between two cars, because Turkington got a better run coming off the chicane, but 60 kilos heavier. He could not accelerate the car as fast as Josh Cook before turn one.
Meantime, Adam Morgan, that you're riding with, is in 7th place. This is looking good against Tom Ingram in terms of championship points. I know there's a long way to go, but interesting to just keep an eye on that situation. Ingram is in 14th, and he's a bit stuck behind Ash Sutton, who's defending well. Ingram hasn't yet been able to find a way through. There they are, look. Matt Simpson is ahead up the road, and then, of course, the gaps open up. So now it's been a great charge through half the field. Life is a lot tougher for Ingram from here on in.
Yeah, it gets so hard. Of course, they all know they're trying to get... Oh, wow! High speed off. That looks like Brett Smith, I think.
I think you're right. It's a big lose coming up Woodham Hill. So off the road has gone the Eurotech Wix Honda, and it is Brett Smith digging himself back towards the circuit now as the leaders go by. Cook, Turkington and Neal, the top three. Tordoff is 4th, 5th is Jordan, 6th is Proctor. And of course, that moment for Brett Smith puts Matt Simpson 11th, Sutton is 12th, 13th is Ingram now. 14th Collard, and 15th into the points goes Rob Austin. So Josh Cook leading the way. Can you anticipate that other teams will go and have a word with the officials post-race about that move? If you were WSR, you'd inquire, wouldn't you? Because it might give a win to Turkington.
Well, exactly. You know, if they can get that position put back to behind Andy Jordan, it was, wasn't it? Then there's an opportunity.
Here comes Rob Austin up the inside of Rob Collard. And the Alfa Romeo is going to go past the BMW on the inside. Brave stuff going through Church. So Rob Austin, who, as he will always tell you, is never short of commitment, and he's sideways coming out of Churchdown. He just hung on to it. He's gone through up into 14th place. Again, everything on the line there.
Well, that's what we say. That's how hard drivers fight for everything, and that was for 14th place, sideways coming out of Church at 125 odd miles an hour.
Safer up here, isn't it? Tom Ingram is 12th, so he's in that reverse zone as you see Jack Goff getting up the inside there to try to go ahead of Chilton for 8th place. Chilton has faded, hasn't he, after a good start, and here comes Goff up the inside of the Motorbase Ford. The Eurotech Honda goes by, so Jack Goff now is 8th, despite struggling in race 1 with a lack of straight line speed. Now the car is lighter, it's looking a bit more promising. Yeah,
well, because he was carrying, what, 48 kilos, I think, in race 1 and 0 in race 2, so he really should be quicker.
Out of Noble they come, on the limit, those two. Chris Smiley is not far behind them in 10th place, whereas his teammate James Nash 20th. Michael Caine is down the pit lane, incidentally, another frustrating race for him. But up front, it is Josh Cook getting away now, leading by 1.3 seconds. Adam Morgan still charging on behind Senna Proctor, who is actually closing back up, it seems, onto the tail of Andrew Jordan, who in turn is right there behind Tordoff as they come to the chicane. This is lap 15 and into the braking zone. Proctor is 6th, Morgan is 7th, needing to keep out of trouble and bank points. Over the timing line goes the race leader onto the last lap now. Josh Cook leads Colin Turkington by 1.8 seconds. That chicane moment aside, Josh Cook has driven really well in this.
Absolutely, he's absolutely flown, and he has driven brilliantly, and it'd be a shame to see this win lost in the stewards room, really, because he's driven very well, and as you say, he will argue that he was forced off the road, but he clearly gained an advantage because he got the position and the fastest lap.
Indeed so, yes. The evidence is there, isn't it? And we talked about it as Josh Cook, for Powermax Tag Racing, looks to give the team its 3rd win of the season. Adam Weaver, the man behind the team, is a real enthusiast, competitor himself in rallycross on occasions when he gets the time, and it's great to see this squad doing so well. Of course, Senna Proctor won at Brands Hatch, Josh at Donington, and looks like it's going to be a win here as well. You're looking at Ash Sutton versus Tom Ingram, 11th and 12th. But for the final time, down to the chicane, Josh Cook leads Colin Turkington, and Josh Cook subject to anything that happens in the clerk of the course's office after the race, is going to be our second double winner of the year, because it's win number 2 for Josh Cook. He will win at Thuruxton in round 8 of the BTCC. Josh Cook wins on the road. Colin Turkington is second. The celebrations start at Powermax Tag Racing as Matt Neal takes third from Tordoff, Jordan, Proctor, Goff. And what's happened to Morgan? Because Morgan on the last lap has dropped right down the order. Josh Cook is the man first past the flag from Colin Turkington, and Matt Neal third. Fourth, Sam Tordoff, Andrew Jordan fifth. Another great result given how he must be feeling. Sixth, Senna Proctor from Adam Morgan. Seventh from Jack Goff, Tom Chilton, and 10th, Chris Smiley. So, Josh Cook it is who provisionally leads the Drivers' Championship now, 10 points ahead of Tom Ingram, who's on the same number as Adam Morgan. Colin Turkington is up to 4th ahead of Jack Goff. Matt Neal 6th from Dan Camish, then Ash Sutton 8th, Andrew Jordan 9th, and Senna Proctor 10th. Josh Cook, a race winner and the new championship leader, provisionally. Tough season for the reigning champion, of course. Struggling for results, but the fighting spirit is there as ever. The grid is formed. Round 9 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship is set to go. Good start by Proctor. Can he outdrag Morgan? The answer is no. Demon getaway by Colin Turkington. Look who goes round the outside to make it 3 abreast going into Allard. He's right on the outside line. Can he find a way through the traffic? No, he can't. It's going to be Morgan in the lead. Proctor versus Tordoff for second, side by side, up towards the complex. Round the outside dives Josh Cook to try to get past Turkington. There's Matt Neal in the mix, there's Jack Goff there as well, but it's Morgan who emerges ahead on lap 1.
Great start by Morgan, absolutely got it nailed. As you say, Turkington a great start as well, but of course he had to go the long way round, and it's such a long way round, the further distance of turn 1. He just couldn't get back to the inside, but great opening half lap from Adam Morgan.
Looking back from Morgan's car then, he's already managed to put a few lengths between him and Senna Proctor in second place. Tordoff third, Turkington is 4th, and now look, Jack Goff comes up the inside to try to have a go at Matt Neal. New shape Civic versus old shape, and the old one's going to get up on the inside and go through. The lighter car of Jack Goff picks up a place, bold move that going into Church. Chris Smiley is next in the queue. Morgan leads, but is the traffic going to tow back into contention as they work up towards the chicane? End of lap 1. Morgan it is leading the way, diving towards the braking zone. And at the end of the lap, you can see Matt Simpson there right up alongside Tom Chilton. Chilton trying to go round him. He's up the curve, he's over the curve, so is Simpson on the exit. And the Honda just stays ahead. Adam Morgan leads, Senna Proctor is 2nd and Sam Tordoff 3rd. Turkington 4th, Cook 5th, Goff 6th, down to 7th is Neal. Up to 8th, Chris Smiley. 9th is Simpson, just ahead of Chilton, who rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a speed deficit from Matt Neal's car, because he was clearly slower than the onboard shot we had from Chris Smiley coming up the Woodham Hill, and we saw Jack Goff earlier in the lap sail past on the run down to Church.
So on board with Josh Cook then, 75 kilos on board, remember, as the race 2 winner. Turning his way up through Noble now. Adam Morgan led at the end of lap 1 by 4/10 of a second. Can he get away? Or can Senna Proctor's car, which is fractionally heavier, come back at him? Tordoff running in 3rd place, 48 kilos of weight on the motor-based Ford. And then Colin Turkington's BMW, 66 kilos of weight on that. So they get heavier behind the race leader, Adam Morgan, which should help him, of course, as he comes through Church, leading the way and maintaining that advantage.
Yep, I don't want to tempt fate, but you know what we haven't seen this weekend?
Safety car.
Exactly.
Yes, it's tempted. Right, so that'll be on standby in a moment. Down they come to the chicane. Adam Morgan has that advantage just over a charging Senna Proctor, who again rides the curb as they work their way through the chicane for the end of lap number 2. Hayden Moffat bounces over the chicane curves as well. How's Tom Ingram getting on? He was 12th at the end of that one. He's gone back a spot, in fact. Coming over the line now, falling away a little bit from Rob Collard, but they have both got ahead of Tom Chilton. So Ingram is back up into 11th place. Now, through green they go, up towards the complex. There goes Collard, there goes Ingram behind him. Fastest lap, Adam Morgan now, and the lead gap is 7/10.
Yeah, setup changes on Collard's car. Just hasn't been happy with the car all day. Hoping to get something out of this home race for him. He's always been so strong here. And ironically, he qualified well. He was 13th, I think, on the grid, which was good for him. And of course, we expected great things in race. Normally, he always goes forward. Here we are on board with Chris Smiley, teetering on the edge of a Adige as he comes round Goodwood corner, run down to Church. 6th gear, just a lift as they come down to Church, or maybe a dab on the brakes with a left foot just to settle the car in. Ironically, one of the things that Dan Camish does that Matt Neal doesn't is left foot brake, and he thought he was actually slower than Dan because he was slower than Matt Neal because he was slowing the car down too much with the left foot.
So this is the Honda fight between Chris Smiley and Matt Simpson, and they are 8th and 9th. Rob Collard is right there. Tom Ingram with them. Remember, ballast free as well, looking to pick up places. Adam Morgan leads still by 7/10 from Senna Proctor. Toured off 3rd, looking back now. Matt Simpson right behind us. You're on board with Chris Smiley. Through Allard they go, and Ingram has now done the fastest lap, a 1:17.0, 4/10 quicker than the race leader.
That is fast. That's fast. I mean, obviously he's not got so much clear track in front of him, but he obviously put a good lap in there. And like you say, 4/10 quicker than the man at front with open road in front of him.
So now Ingram has got stuck in the traffic, but he's about to have a go at Rob Collard. Look, because the Toyota is alongside the BMW. WSR runs the BMW, Speedweek Motorsport runs the Toyota, and Collard just stays ahead going through Noble. But this is looking rather inevitable now. Ingram has got the quicker car. Yeah,
Ingram taking a wide line into Goodwood, hoping to cut back on the exit, as we saw Goff do earlier. That's the cutback now, hoping to carry that momentum and just be side by side. Is he going to get there? I think he will before Church. Good move, well set up.
Through he goes on the inside. Tom Ingram gains 10th place. Right there behind him, of course, is Chilton. And this is Brett Smith, who's been in the wars. The car is crabbing. Now, has he been a soloist in that incident? Let's see. He is still crawling round, but very slowly indeed as they come now down through the chicane. This is the end of lap number 4, and it's Adam Morgan in the lead. He goes across the timing line, still being chased by Senna Proctor. The gap still hovering at 7/10. Toured off 3rd. Turkington 4th. 5th. It is Cook, then it's Goff, Neal, Smiley, Simpson, Ingram into the top 10 now. And that last lap was slightly slower, but he still does have the fastest lap of the race to his credit. Slower because he had to do the overtaking and he was in the traffic.
Yeah, so broken rear right toe link on the Eurotech car of Brett Smith, and as you say, we don't know whether there was contact involved or whether it was just this punishing circuit that's finally broken the car. He did have that big off, remember, in race 2 where he went sailing off on the grass, so maybe some damage caused in that's carried over to race 3.
Big shame, given how well he went in qualifying. The weekend, overnight looked like it was going to be a good one, and it's just unravelled across the day.
Yeah, but nevertheless, still a very encouraging weekend for
sure.
Brett Smith,
Yeah.
I think. Another young gun charging at the front.
Chris Smiley, another young gun, charging in 8th place, looking back at Matt Simpson, and right behind Simpson is Ingram. Driving standards flag being shown for Ash Sutton, and also Jake Hill. Now, can Ingram make a move against Simpson before Simpson has a go at Smiley? Let's see. They all concertina coming towards the chicane. Behind Ingram, there's still Collard, and Adam Morgan is leading the race from the front and maintaining this advantage. It's down a fraction, just over 0.6 of a second, and Goff up to 5th has got himself past Josh Cook now, so Jack Goff into 5th position. Remember, that car's got 21 kilos versus the 75 of the Vauxhall Astra of Josh Cook. Here is Ingram having his first real go at Matt Simpson, who's closing up under braking onto the back of Chris Smiley. This could get a bit leery. Let's see who's going to make the bold move first and try and force the issue.
Looks like Ingram's trying to set up that same sort of move that he had earlier on with the cutback later in this lap. Trying to force Simpson and into a wrong line, and he's got Simpson a little bit wide there, but he's under pressure himself. Look, the BMW is fighting back of Collard.
So can Ingram get past Simpson before Collard retaliates? Because, of course, he's already been overtaken once by the Toyota. Simpson, who has also come on a pace this year, much improved driver, showing good pace with Eurotech as well after a tough season with Dynamics last year, for example. First season was with Speedweek in the championship, so 3rd season, 3rd different team. But Matt Simpson a bit low on luck, but good on speed this year, coming down towards the chicane. As you look at Tordoff, who in turn has got Turkington and then Goff behind him, and Jack Goff is charging along now. He's on the tail of the BMW and looking for a way by with that lighter Eurotech Civic. Bearing in mind he was complaining at the start of the day of a lack of straight line speed, his day has turned around for the better.
Yeah, well, he saw what Josh Cook did in race 2 with a lighter car, didn't he? And he had some good pace in that race, so he wants to try and make as much profit as he can out of the lightweight trying to go round the outside, and he's done it. He's done it. He's got through cleanly. A good move from Goff.
Now Sam Tordoff comes into Village. He has got Jack Goff crawling all over the back of him. The two race leaders are still getting away. Look, there is Turkington being chased hard by Cook. Matt Neal is in 7th place, and problems there for Ollie Jackson. Onto the grass and back onto the road again, and he will drop down accordingly. He's dropping fluid, we understand, as well. That's another reason why potentially he's trying to keep off the line. Ash Sutton, in the meantime, 20th from the back of the grid, which is a good effort. And here, for 3rd, Jack Goff launches up the inside, and through he goes. Clean pass, gets the job done. And have a look behind Turkington, because Josh Cook is catching him despite carrying more weight.
Yeah, 27 kilos difference between Goff and Tordoff, so that pass almost inevitable in the end. And well, there's only 2 cars in front of Goff now, and he's 3.5 seconds behind with plenty of laps still to go.
To the complex they come. Now Jack Goff's next target is 2.4 seconds up the road, and it's Senna Proctor, who just can't do anything about Adam Morgan. The gap creeps up lap by hundreds here, a 10th there, but there's just nothing he can do to bring down that gap. But Jack Goff could catch Proctor. A replay here of the move, Tim.
Yeah, signalled his intention, and I think Tordoff knew he was fighting the diminishing returns by trying to stay in front, so left the door open nicely. Here's Sutton, who remember, started right at the back. He clearly has had a moment and is recovering from that, being passed left, right and centre, so don't know what happened there, but he's now in...
He's going to be about 25th,
isn't he, when he come across the line.
That's other people ahead.
Yeah, other people that started at the back. Hamish is up to 16th. Remember, he started 25th, so he's made very good progress.
Ingram against Simpson. This is for 9th place, down to the chicane, but Matt Simpson fends him off. Interesting this, isn't it? Ingram has got a bit stuck, even though he's got no ballast. He's with light cars around him, and he's struggling to make the progress now. Even though Chris Smiley's got a bit of weight on 9 kilos, he's defending well from Simpson, and Simpson is keeping Tom Ingram at bay as well. Now, can Ingram line up to have a go? This is the run to the complex. Yes, he's alongside as they go through green. He's going to have the inside line for Campbell, and Tom Ingram goes through. He takes now 9th place away from Simpson, who goes right into the back of him. The car is sideways. Ingram controls the slide, and he still has 9th place, assuming that's not done any lasting damage.
Yeah, there was some judicious use of the inside curve by Tingram on that lap to set up that move, but it's paid off, even if he got a little tap from Simpson.
And Simpson now has to try to defend, because he's got Collard crawling all over the back of him. We are on lap 10. It's a 16-lap race. Ingram then through, and he's up into 9th place. Next target is Chris Smiley. But of course, thinking championship, thinking Alton Park as the next venue where it's hard to carry the weight around. Josh Cook looks like he might well go there as the championship leader, but with a very heavy car. So Speedweek early on in the day saying perhaps going to their home circuit without the championship lead, not the end of the world, because a lighter car might work better. You've got to think about the championship all the time in so many different ways. Over the curbs at the chicane comes Rob Collard. He's on the back of Simpson, who is dropping away from Ingram, who is almost now sharing the BTC Norlin Honda with Chris Smiley. So close is he?
Yeah, that's the ultimate in sort of turning a negative into a positive, isn't it? If we go to Alton with less weight, we'll be quicker there. Well, you're not going to give away points to get that situation, are you? You're just in that situation through force of circumstance.
But for now, Ingram has not given up, has he? And he's still fighting, and he's still after every point he can get. Chris Smiley, yet again, proving that he is well worth his place on the BTCC grid. He's a very feisty racer. He knows how to make a car wide.
He certainly does. And at the front, the Tordoff was, well, Goff was by far and away the quickest. At 4/10 quicker Goff was than Proctor and Morgan. So now has Morgan hit that critical point where he's losing tyre performance? Car looks pretty nailed there coming through Church, looked good, or maybe it was just one poor lap, but Goff is inching his way up towards them, isn't he?
Of course, he's got to get past Proctor before he can think about Morgan. So from Adam Morgan's point of view, he wants that battle to last as long as possible. Here comes Ingram against Smiley. He has a look one side and then the other. Everywhere he wants to be, there's a Honda in the way. So they're still tied together, but no change in the order. As behind, look, Collard and Simpson arrive side by side, but it's Simpson that just keeps the place into the chicane. Ingram now tries to get the run up the inside of Smiley, down towards Allard. and just going through on a very narrow inside gap. Tom Ingram picked up the place. Smiley fights back, but Ingram is ahead. He's done it. He now goes 8th.
Great overtaking, forceful, aggressive, saw the gap and just kept putting his foot down. Had that superior exit speed from the chicane, and Smiley finally having to just give him the room and not put him in the wall. That was good driving.
Hard but fair. Adam Morgan, in the meantime, has a different kind of race to think about, which is looking after tyres and constantly looking in the mirror to see what the gap is. Jack Goff continues to hustle on in pursuit of Senna Proctor. The last lap for Jack Goff was a 17 quicker than the 2 race leaders, so 3/10 faster than Senna Proctor ahead of him he was. He's on lap 12 of 16. He should get 2nd place before the end, given the way that he's going.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the fact that Proctor is behind is going to help Adam Morgan, isn't it? Because even if Goff gets up behind him, he's got some work to do to get past and then catch.
Into the chicane, launching over the curb for the first element there. Senna Proctor and Jack Goff. 4th is Torn Off, Turkington 5th, Cook 6th, Matt Neal is 7th. And then it's Tom Ingram up into 8th place. Good battle between Rob Austin and Tom Chilton. Chilton gets squeezed up over the curve and onto the grass. Rob Austin goes through. Aidan Moffat still struggling for straight line speed. Tries to make a move on the inside. Can he get his nose up the inside? He can. Can he get the whole car up the inside? Yes, he can. And Moffat goes through and gains a place. That was brave.
That was a good move. Well done. And good driving by. Oh, Camish has seen an opportunity. He's down straight in there as well. Can he go around the outside? I'm not sure. No, couldn't quite pull it off all the way.
Not there, he can't, but it was certainly an opportunistic go, wasn't it? He suddenly arrived out of nowhere. Bang, right up the inside, flashing the lights at Tom Chilton. Tom's early race pace has seemed to be good, and in each race he's kind of dropped away as the race has worn on. Yeah,
it could be just a set-up issue. It only takes a tiny difference to drop that pace off, but Camish is a man on a mission, having started at the back, isn't he?
Admittedly, 15 kilos on Tom Chilton's car, 8th on the grid. He's now running 14th, but surprising perhaps that its pace has dropped away quite so much. There's Aidan Moffat through, having gained the position, and now Jack Goff is right on the tail of Senna Proctor for 2nd place as they come through the chicane, heading up towards the timing line. This will now put from Adam Morgan 13 laps in the book, 16-lap race. Proctor to Goff, the gap is 0.325 of a second. Adam Morgan leads by 1.6 seconds. Can he be another double winner this season? He's driven faultlessly so far, but Jack Goff, using a lot of curb on the inside coming into Campbell, is now looking for this move against Senna Proctor. And now Adam Morgan, having said he's driven faultlessly, I take it all back, because he's been given a driving standards flag.
He doesn't need to be doing that when he's out in front with a 1.5 second lead. But you could see through the complex clearly that Goff has got more grip.
Yes.
He's got more tyre left under him. He was able to turn tighter, turn sharper, and keep the rolling speed up. So he's definitely got a good car underneath him. He's trying to do that cut back here, but in the faster corners, the Vauxhall of Proctor is keeping up its momentum well. Look at that, turning in, bit of sideways, might make him slower on the exit. Here's the momentum coming from Goff. Can he get in the slipstream? He's been complaining about being slow on the straight so far, so this may not be the best point. He's going to have to do it the hard way, go around the outside. There's no opportunity this lap.
Nose to tail, though, they come into the chicane. All of this helping Adam Morgan, because if they delay one another, so he is going to build that gap further. Proctor is wide out of the chicane, and Goff gets the inside line for the next right-hander. Start of the lap into Allard. Through he goes. Jack Goff on the inside line goes 2nd. He's wide, a real slide through the corner. So much speed did he carry, but he has done it. Jack Goff, then, who started 7th on the grid, is now 2nd. And with 2 laps to go, he's got 2 seconds to make up.
Yeah, he's not going to make that up on an experienced driver like Adam Morgan, but nevertheless, it's been a great recovery drive from Goff to salvage some strong points out of what's been a difficult weekend.
It's going to be fascinating to see how the championship pans out come the end of this. Morgan leading from Goff, Cook 6th, Ingram is 8th. Really is going to be intriguing when we go through the points standings at the end of the day. Tom Oliphant, in the meantime, who started, remember, 30th on the grid, is now running 20th. Ash Sutton Snakes and Ladders drive. He had got himself up to 19th before he had that moment. He's back up to 21st. And in fact, there he is on the tail of Tom Oliphant then as the two of them run nose to tail in the traffic. Bobby Thompson is up the road ahead. Bobby has won here in the Volkswagen Championship in the past. Another of the rookies into the VTCC this year. Now, Matt Simpson has lost out to Rob Collard, but he's fighting back. Aidan Moffat's looking for a way past Rob Austin on the inside, coming up to the chicane. Ahead of him, side by side, Collard on the inside, goes ahead of Simpson. Moffat's going to try and go through as well. And he leans on Simpson and he's sideways, and the Honda is ahead, and Moffat's going to be on the grass, and Rob Austin gets carried along with him, and Chilton gains ground, and Camish will go through as well. And side by side into Allard on the inside line, Tom Chilton goes ahead of Matt Simpson, and somehow out of all of that melee, that has put Chilton up into 11th place.
Well, I think Matt Simpson's been through the chicane every which way. He's been through it to the left, to the right, and over the top, and damage on the rear bodywork of Aidan Moffat's car, but he will get to the end. Can Camish pick up a couple of places on this last lap? Bit of opportunism, maybe.
So the smoke coming from Aidan Moffat's Mercedes. It's not affecting the pace because he comes back up onto the inside of the Rory Butcher MG. Now, the leader is on his last lap. Adam Morgan has driven very, very well in this race. I mentioned that driving standards flag being brought out, but other than that, he has been out on his own. He has controlled the pace, and in fact, the advantage has stretched. It was 2 seconds, it's now 2.9.
Yeah, and he was only 10 points behind Cook coming into this race, so it is going to be very close.
And of course, it's effectively home circuit next for Adam Morgan as well. So round 9 of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship is a win for Adam Morgan. He comes across the line. What a drive. And Jack Goff is second. Third, Senna Proctor. Tordoff takes fourth. Fifth is Turkington. Sixth is Cook. Seventh, Tom Ingram. Got ahead of Matt Neal right at the very end. Adam Morgan wins round 9 of the championship. Jack Goff second and Senna Proctor on the podium in third. Sam Tordoff takes fourth ahead of Colin Turkington, and then Josh Cook sixth from Tom Ingram, Matt Neal, Chris Smiley and Rob Collard into the top 10. As far as the championship is concerned, it is Adam Morgan who leads, leaving Thuruxton only by a point from Josh Cook, and it's Tom Ingram down in third, now 11 back. Jack Goff fourth ahead of Colin Turkington and Matt Neal. Dan Camish seventh ahead of Senna Proctor and Ash Sutton. And Tom Chilton back into the top 10. It's been a topsy-turvy day at Thuruxton.